Perfect. Good morning, everyone in the United States, and good afternoon to our colleagues and friends who are joining us from United Kingdom. My name is Christina Farmas. I am Vice President for Strategic Projects at Purdue University, and for the last 4 months, along with my colleagues, Billy Johnson and Shelby Vibert, we have been managing the Purdue Books Initiative. As part of this project, we have investigated who are the best and most popular publishers that engage with our faculty, and we have invited them to share their wisdom and help us become better at publishing. So today, I'm really honored and quite excited to have with us our colleagues and friends from CRC Press. So I'm happy to introduce Alice Oven, Rob Calver, and Randy Slack. Thank you so much for joining us. I will like to share my screen for a couple of minutes and give you a little bit of an overview, very, very short, of what we're trying to do with the Purdue Books Initiative. As an author, please go ahead and bookmark this page, the Purdue Provost book link, and that's where you'll find a variety of resources of information of how you can get from idea through to ISBN. We want to help authors connect with publishers. We want to offer you the book incentive. Once you have a contract from the publisher, we kick in the support services. And then once your book is published, we want to help you with publicity. So as part of this series, to connect with the publisher, we are inviting, as I mentioned, our best and closest publishing houses to talk about their process. If you're interested to connect with us, please go ahead and complete the book questionnaire that you'll find at this link. And then somebody from our team, could be me, but most likely Billy or Shelby, will follow up with you and will try to assist you to the process. So just a quick overview. In order to find a publisher, ideally you would join some of these sessions, and then you'll learn what are the strengths and what are the processes and the timelines for various publishers out there. Once you have a contract, we are going to offer you the incentive agreement. And as a reminder, the first 25% of the incentive will be paid as soon as you have the contract, and the remaining 75% will be paid once you have an accepted final manuscript from the publisher. And once you have this incentive agreement, we hope to offer you some support services to help you prepare your manuscript as quickly as possible. Support services are not meant to replace any services that are coming from the publisher, but are meant to help you get to that step quicker. So, for example, if you need some graphics done or redone, if you need permissions checked, if you need a timeline, if you need a line editor before you send your manuscript to the printer, we hope to be able to supply some of these services in a collaboration between the central book team here with me, Billy, and Shelby, and also resources available in the college. And finally, once your book is published, we want to help you advertise it as widely as possible. So we want you to feel confident that in this process, you are not writing a book by yourself, but the entire university marketing machine will help you advertise. So just recently, we were able to compile this table to help you understand the impact that Purdue advertising can have. So we know that Purdue has over 580,000 followers on LinkedIn. So if you do just a little bit of a conversion, let's say we post something about your book and maybe 1% of them open that, and then another 50% of that perhaps buy or download your book, that can have a significant impact on the distribution for your book. And then you can also see some colleges are extremely, extremely well represented online. I'm quite impressed by the College of Veterinary Medicine, a lot of followers on LinkedIn, but also other colleges have significant followers too. During the webinar, I encourage you to mute your microphones, and then if you don't mind, to save your questions until after the presentation. If you don't mind, also raise your virtual hand to ask your question at that time. It's a little bit hard to monitor questions asked through the chat and also online. So we're going to give priority to hands raised. And again, we're recording this webinar and you'll be able to see it at the same website. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the CRC team, and lovely to have Alice Oven with us. She's a senior editor for Life Sciences and Veterinary Medicine. Then Rob Culver, senior publisher for Mathematics, Statistics, and Physics. And Randy Slack, senior publisher for Computer Science, IT, and Chemistry. Alice, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christina. I will share my screen and take you onto our PowerPoint. Here we go. So Christina already kindly introduced us. I'll be presenting with my colleagues Rob and Randy. I'm senior editor for Life Science and Veterinary Medicine, which I'll be telling you a little bit more about in the next few slides. So just a quick overview of what we'll be talking about today. We're going to start off with a bit of an introduction to the various subject areas that we all publish in. Some of my colleagues have also contributed slides to this, so we're covering as much as we possibly can in terms of subject areas. And then the second half of the presentation will delve into kind of the mechanics of the book publishing process. So why would you want to publish a book at all? How you actually go about shaping those ideas, what we do in terms of sending your proposal out for review, what support we offer you, what's in a contract, and then I guess why publish with CRC Press over other publishers. And then at the end, hopefully there'll be lots of time for you to ask plenty of questions as well. So what is science at CRC Press? So CRC Press are the science imprint of Taylor and Francis Group. Our sister imprint is Routledge, who are on the social science and humanities side. We were founded in 1834 in England, so we've been around for a long time now. We publish around 1,000 new science books every year, and we have over 20,000 active titles in our backlist. So really, really comprehensive, covering all sorts of areas, as you'll soon see. We have a strong professional publishing and graduate textbook programme, and we also publish academic reference work. So there's a ton of flexibility in the kind of work that you can publish with us. So delving straight into life science, our books here cover a really wide range of topics, as you can see from just some of the covers there. These are some of our best-selling books. We cover biology, agriculture, plant science, marine science, zoology, animal science, food and nutrition, lifestyle medicine, ecology, you name it really, we've got it. So over 3,000 books published, and many sell in their thousands. We publish seminal titles, including several by Purdue authors. We have, hopefully you can see some of your colleagues up there. These include student-focused textbooks, professional guides, and reference works for academic researchers, often edited collections with really prestigious contributors. So we're really proud of the books that we publish in the life science list. We have a real reputation for outstanding quality, and our textbooks in particular are very pedagogical, lots of colour, really high quality. And then my area, veterinary medicine, I've included some of our authors that you might be familiar with here, Nadine Dolby, Jeff Coe, who introduced me to Christina in the first place. Our books cover a really wide breadth of areas in veterinary medicine. So we have clinical treatment of disease in small animal, large animal, exotics. And then we also cover non-clinical aspects like ethics, client communication, animal behaviour and handling, all sorts of things. So we really don't limit ourselves just to the clinical medicine side. We have more than 225 books published, and again, many are selling in the thousands. We've got some really strong titles, very well respected authors as well, particularly in small animal and equine medicine. And we do a range of books from student-focused textbooks to more professional manuals for use in practice and continuing professional development. Again, our books in veterinary medicine are almost always full colour. They have absolutely beautiful text features and premium production. So really high quality, good, great, fantastic, solid books. So yeah, you can always be proud, I think, of the books that you publish with us. Again, clinical medicine. We offer a really wide range of titles from medical and surgical specialties and related non-clinical disciplines as well. So the list has particular depth in cardiology, dermatology and cosmetic science, general practice, general surgery, all sorts of areas from obstetrics to reproductive medicine. We also have a wide range of revision guides as well, so really comprehensive in medicine. The portfolio includes many titles established over multiple editions, like Bailey and Love's Short Practice of Surgery and Greenfield's Neuropathology as well. These really kind of well-known, well-respected books. And we provide a broad range of resources at all levels, from undergraduate textbooks through to practical pocket guides, to comprehensive market-leading reference work. So again, real flexibility in the kind of book you can publish with us. And then over to you, Rob.
Alice, and thanks to Christina again.
Sorry, Rob, but we can't seem to hear you. Would you mind starting over? Not yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. I guess my computer mic was muted. I was unmuted on the screen. Anyway, I will start again. So my name is Rob Calver. Thanks to Christina for the invite. It's great to be here. I'm the senior publisher for mathematics, statistics, and physics. And here's just a sample of the books we publish. So we're very strong in these areas. We consider ourselves to be the top publisher in statistics and in the top 3 or 4 for both mathematics and physics. Our books cover a very broad range of subject areas across the quantitative sciences. We publish textbooks, academic references, handbooks, and also practical guides for professionals. We publish about 240 new books in my group every year, and that is split roughly equally between the 3 areas, about 80 books in each field. We're very well known for our bestsellers. We've got some great books, particularly our textbooks, very strong graduate textbook program in our textbooks in mathematics series, our text in statistical science series, and also our physics textbook series. We have a number of other very prestigious series, discrete mathematics, the series in medical physics, our relatively new data science series, which is a joint effort with our colleagues in computer science that Randy will talk a bit more about their book shortly. So really strong in all of these areas, and I would say very well known for the outstanding quality of our books and our authors. And we try to make a contribution to that by providing really excellent editorial and production support, as well as extensive sales and marketing efforts through our global sales teams and a very large marketing department. Next slide, please, Alice. I think you're in control. Okay, and here I will mention engineering on behalf of our colleague Ed Needle, whose contact details will be on the slide at the end of the presentation. If anyone has questions specifically about engineering, they can get in touch with Ed. We have a very large and strong team. I think we have maybe 15 editors in engineering across all the areas you can see here: aerospace, biomedical, bioengineering, civil, electrical, environmental, chemical. Every area of engineering is covered by the group, in about 850 new books published year on year within the engineering group, and a very strong list of backlist titles as well. Lots of bestsellers, great textbook program, both at the further education and higher education levels, reference books, particularly well known in material science and electrical engineering and across all areas of engineering, and an extensive catalogue of reference and textbooks, really robust peer review process that they're very proud of, as well as the author care and attention that they give to each and every project, and an excellent range of series that they have across all these areas. I think I hand over to Randy.
Thanks, Rob. Can you hear me okay? Good. Okay. Thanks for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our computer science, IT, and chemistry lists, which I manage. Historically, actually, the CRC Press imprint began in chemistry. We published back in 1913 the first edition of the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics, and this is one of our flagship books, a bestseller for us. It's now in its 106th edition. It comes out every single year, most chemists will have 1 or more editions on their shelf going back a long way. So we're very proud of that book. Our chemistry list is also very well known for high quality reference books and textbooks in analytical, industrial, and environmental chemistry. And I also publish the computer science and IT list, and we have a very strong and dynamic list of growing list of books in computer science and IT. We are one of the leading publishers of books for professionals, but we also publish high quality textbooks at the upper undergraduate and graduate level, as well as reference books for researchers. We're a leading publisher of books on gaming, AI, animation, data visualization, and cybersecurity. And you can see some of our titles there. Next slide, please, Alice. So I also want to cover our AI publishing program because it's very exciting. In actuality, CRC Press has been publishing books on AI for many, many years. We're looking back, one of our first books on AI, a book on stats in AI, was published 33 years ago. So we've been publishing AI content long before AI was the subject of daily news stories. We made it an ambition long ago to become the leading publisher in AI, and we're well on our way to achieving this goal. Our publishing program in AI is broad and impactful, and our author base includes world-renowned AI developers, thinkers, researchers, and applications experts. AI is actually interwoven throughout our entire STEM publishing program. Next slide, please. So while we publish many books on AI development tools and methods, a large part of our publishing program is actually devoted to AI applications across STEM. So we have new book series on AI in medicine, analytics and AI in healthcare, and mathematics in AI. And our engineering team is publishing many new titles on AI applications as well, including exciting new books on AI in chemical engineering, geospatial AI, and AI for oil and gas production. Next slide. We're also really excited to announce that we've just partnered with the AAAI, which is the leading global society for AI, to develop a new book series on AI ethics. So AI, as it continues to impact society, ethics and responsible and trustworthy AI are at the forefront of research. So we're going to be working with the AAAI to develop more books on AI ethics going forward. And we just launched this series at their annual conference, which happened last month. So we're really excited about this partnership and watch this space because there should be some exciting new books coming. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much, Randy. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So I will now delve into why publish a book at all, which obviously is the question. And there are obviously a number of reasons why you might be motivated to publish a book. And while publishing new research is obviously hugely important, a book does allow you to bring together a wider breadth of research or practical information in one place. And it's an opportunity to summarize the current state of the field and to reach a broader international audience with your work. So there are reasons why it is, really appealing to publish in a book as opposed to publishing an article in a journal, for instance. So publishing in a book, particularly in a textbook, can educate and inform the next generation of researchers and practitioners, which means your work has a lasting legacy. And there's greater flexibility when it comes to writing a book as well, which I think is a really major point. You can publish a research monograph, but you can also publish a practical manual, a pedagogical textbook, or a professional reference work. And there's space for you to really explore ideas and propose evidence-based solutions as well. Your book, for instance, could be the reason that a student passes their exam, or a surgeon finally masters a complex operation, or a researcher is inspired to seek funding for a groundbreaking new project. And you might help change policy or just simply change the way that people think, which I think is really exciting. And there's huge potential in publishing your work in this way. So obviously now you're inspired to write a book. What next? So the first step is to get your idea down on paper. And this slide is all about kind of shaping those ideas and kind of really getting together in your head what you want to propose to us. We have a clear proposal template that you can use for that, and Rob will talk about that a bit later. But the important part of that is really the planned content, the working table of contents. And the more information you can kind of get down for that, the more helpful the peer review process is going to be. And of course, integral to what goes into your book is understanding who the book is for. who are you actually going to be writing this for? Is it professional readership? Is it a researcher? Is it more of a kind of policy making audience? Is it students? So yeah, that's really key in kind of thinking about how you want to pitch your book. And of course, is there actually a need in the market for this book? Why do you want to write it? Why are people going to buy it? You know, what is that need, and are you meeting it with what you're writing? And then kind of a bit further down the line, what's already out there? What are the competing books? And what does yours that offer that is fresh and new? How is it different, or how is it complementary? I think that's really interesting to look at and kind of see what else is in that field. And then finally, kind of what technical elements are needed. I think now we're seeing increasing call for digital resources to accompany textbooks, for instance, solutions, pedagogy, slides, that kind of thing. Are there additional extras that you can offer your audience that kind of come with that book? So yeah, loads of things to consider when you're kind of shaping that first proposal. And then that brings me to the publishing process. So whether your manuscript is already partially written, which often that is the case, or if you just have an idea and it's kind of very much still in your head, the process is pretty much the same. So first of all, you would talk with a commissioning editor like myself or my colleagues, and we'd shape your ideas just as we discussed in the previous slide, and see whether this would be a topic of interest for us, but also for the market. And then you'd put together a proposal, which obviously we're about to go into a bit more detail on. Your editor would then send your proposal for peer review, which goes out to ideally sort of 3 to 4, maybe more peer reviewers. They take 2 to 4 weeks to fill out quite a detailed questionnaire about your proposal. Hopefully we get a ton of really useful feedback back that can really help you shape your proposal into the best book it can be. Obviously, we decide whether or not we want to take it forward based on the kind of positivity of those reviews. And we discuss that with our colleagues in sales and marketing, our editorial colleagues, and we make a decision whether or not to offer a contract. We then hopefully offer you that contract. We discuss the contract with you, make sure you're absolutely happy with all the terms being offered, and we will talk a bit more about the contract in a later slide. And then you go off and write the book. And obviously we're very much on hand to support you during that process. So we would ideally receive draft chapters from you, send them out for peer review when appropriate. Once you've finished writing your manuscript, we can also review that. We then work with you once you've finished your manuscript to get all those little bits and pieces finished at the end, the chapter abstracts, the back cover copy. We discuss with you cover design. It's very much a collaborative process all the way through, particularly that manuscript submission stage where everything kind of comes together before we hand over to the production team. During production, we make sure your book gets thorough copy editing, typesetting, indexing. It normally takes anything from sort of 6 to 9 months, depending on the length of the manuscript and kind of the complexity of it. We take care of everything to make your book look like a beautiful book, and taking it from a Word document to a typeset book. We then move on to the pre-publication marketing and sales point. So about a month before the book comes out, it's available for pre-order. We would give the book a good marketing push, make sure that it appears on our website and Amazon, obviously quite a long time before it actually comes out. Then during publication, we obviously liaise with you, make sure you get your free author copies, and we discuss obviously sales and marketing from that point on with you as well. It's very much international marketing with Taylor and Francis. We make sure that the book is promoted globally. We try to sell copies at conferences throughout the world, around the world, and yeah, it's very much a kind of global marketing process. So yeah, that's the way the publishing process works, from a whistle-stop tour from start to finish. And I will now hand over, I think, to Rob to talk about preparing a proposal in a bit more detail.
Hear me this time? Good, excellent, thank you. Well, Alice has already covered this, but I just wanted to dig into a little bit more detail about the proposal, because this is a really important part of the process. And what we would ask you to do is to get in touch with the most appropriate editor that we have. You know, we have lots of editors in the company. There's a few of us here today, and all the details of the people you need to contact are on our website, or we can redirect you to the correct people so that you're working with an editor who is specifically commissioning books in your area, and they would be your dedicated editor throughout that process that Alice has just described, right through the phrase I really loved that I'd never heard before that Christina used up front, which was from idea to ISBN, which I will be stealing going forward. So the proposal, the editor would provide you with a questionnaire that you can use to present your proposal. We ask you to make it really clear, concise. You don't want it to be too verbose that people get bored reading it. It needs to be clear and to the point, and really get your ideas across. So you describe the audience, and this should be very clear as to the subject areas you're targeting, the levels. Is it an academic audience? Is it students? Is it professional? And then you give a synopsis and overview of the book. What is the subject area? What is the coverage? How will it be used? The rationale, i.e. the motivation. Is there a gap that you've seen that you're filling with this book? Is there another reason that you're motivated to write the book? You also provide a very detailed table of contents in there. I think each editor probably has their own form and asks for certain things, but what I ask for is detail in the table of contents, because that's really where the reviewers will look to understand what background material is in there, what the coverage is, what the scope of the book is, how far advanced it goes, and so on, in order to really understand what the project is about. So either chapter subheadings or chapter abstracts are really useful in the table of contents in the proposal. And then a really key question is, how is this book different to what's already out there? So Alice mentioned this already. It's really important as an author that you're proposing a book that really offers something new to the community, to the subject area, to the market. So what is the niche that your book is filling? If it's a textbook, how is it different to the textbooks that already exist on this particular topic, or is it something completely new and unique? If it's a reference work, how does it, how does it set itself apart from the other reference works that exist in that field? So it's really good to have a reasonably comprehensive list of the other books in the area, and how your proposed book will compare to them. And then the last two parts of the proposal form are important. Timescale, how long you expect to write it. Alice mentioned there on the previous slide that about 1 to 2 years is the general kind of timeline we expect from proposing to delivery. And then we also ask for reasonable estimates about the length of the book and formatting, figures, and these kind of questions. But just to reiterate, I think it's really important to put together a good proposal. Imagine yourself as a reviewer who's reading the proposal and providing feedback. And we find definitely that the reviews are a reflection of the quality of the proposal. So if it's detailed and it's clear and it's really well presented, then the reviews we get coming back tend to be really good, both positive in terms of the project, but also detailed and constructive in terms of helping you as an author to finalize your plan for the book, to really clarify your thinking before you set out on the writing phase. So it's a really important part of the process to get right, and it can be very, very important for developing a good book. So if you want to move on, Alice, to the next slide. So very briefly, assuming a positive review process, lots of good constructive feedback, we're ready to talk about the details of the contract. We have standard agreements that we will send to you, standard publishing agreements, which include some variable terms, which we can talk about when we come to that point that we're negotiating the contract. So that's the number of words or pages that we expect to have in the book, the number of figures, the due date again, so that's the timeline, and these things are movable, but we want a good estimate of when we expect the book to be completed and what it will look like at this contract stage. There'll be lots of terms in there. The key one is copyright. The standard practice that we have is that our authors keep their copyright and they grant us an exclusive license to publish the book. But we can talk about that in more detail when we get to that point with an individual author of what the contract looks like. There will also be information in there about royalties. So the way that we are structured is we take all the production costs and the manufacturing costs of the book. We don't expect authors to provide anything towards that. and then we pay a royalty to our authors based on the net receipts, the net revenue, reported revenue of that book. There'll also be information in the contract about how we might handle indexing. We can handle that ourselves, or it can be done by authors, depending on preference, permissions, provision of chapter abstracts, and other special terms. And also the author gratis copy. So that would be the number of free copies of the book that will be issued upon publication. So there's quite a lot to a contract, but there is a dedicated commissioning editor there to talk you through the process, help you understand what you're committing to and what we're committing to. And as the key point that Alice made throughout talking about the publishing process is that it's a collaborative effort. We're working together to produce the best possible book we can, and to market it and sell it as widely as possible. Okay, next slide, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the level of author support we provide, which I think we pride ourselves on. When you're, as Rob and Alice both mentioned, when you work with us, you work with a dedicated editor throughout the writing process. So you'll be in contact with the editor from the beginning stage, the ideation, the proposal process. That person will work with you to solicit the peer reviews. We pride ourselves on our peer review process here at CRC Press. Every proposal is peer reviewed very carefully in order to provide authors with feedback that they can use when they're actually developing their manuscript. And the author-editor relationship is a really important one because your editor is there every step of the way, from the beginning of the project to even after publication, to ensure that the book is being promoted and marketed worldwide. So you will be working with that person. You can have regular meetings with your editor to talk through the manuscript development process. Some authors like to meet with the editors regularly. Some of them just go off and write their book and come back when it's done. But you have that person's there every step of the way to help guide you. And at CRC, we really pride ourselves on our author care. We also provide help if you're submitting a manuscript that's camera ready using LaTeX. We can have a dedicated LaTeX help desk who can help answer any questions, help you if there's problems with your formatting. They're there every step of the way while you're developing your manuscript. And then when your book finally is produced and you have a manuscript that you send to us, it goes into what we call production, and then it will be, we do a full copy edit on every book. We also will typeset it into book form, and we provide a proofread, and then the author receives page proofs, and they're able to look at the design elements and make sure that the book is acceptable to them and looks good. And we also take care of the cover design, and we will work on the index for the book and produce hopefully a book that the author is very proud of. Okay, next slide. So why publish with CRC Press? There's lots of publishers. I'm sure you've heard from a few of them through this process. Christina has invited. Well, why do we think we're the best? we do think we're the best. We were a very strong publisher. We have a strong international presence, which enables us to market our books worldwide. We have sales teams in every region of the world who are promoting our content. And so we can ensure that your book gets as broad exposure as possible. We are, as we've noted already, the leading publisher in many areas in science, including statistics and data science and animal science and computer science. So we're very well known, and researchers and professors and students look to us for our content because it is such high quality. You would also join a world-renowned community of authors and editors, including many of your colleagues at Purdue. In computer science, we're the publisher for one of your very esteemed colleagues, Doug Comer, who has published a number of textbooks with us. So you would join him in this community, as well as many other Purdue authors. So we're very proud to be a publisher for quite a lot of your colleagues. Like I noted before, we offer a very high quality peer review process for your proposal to enable you to improve on your work and get good feedback from your colleagues. We support open science with Bookdown. We offer the ability to do Bookdown and Quarto books, as well as we offer a number of open access options. We're very proud to be a open access publisher, and we give that option to our authors, and it enables their content to have an even wider reach through the OA process. We, like I noted early in the earlier slide, we give one-on-one attention from our editors to our authors. We really pride ourselves on that author care element that we can provide as a publisher. We will respond promptly to any of your queries. We'll work with you. We can have, like I noted earlier, regular meetings with our authors and help you every step of the way to guide you on the publishing journey. And we offer a very extensive high quality production service too, like I noted, including copy editing and proofreading. We're very proud also of our sustainable development efforts. All of our books are certified carbon neutral, while emissions are offset. So we're very proud at CRC Press and our parent company, Taylor and Francis, to be able to offer this to authors as well. So we definitely would welcome you joining our author base and look forward to any questions you might have.
Alice, Rob, Benny, thank you so much. That was fabulous. That was spot on. So thanks for taking the time to prepare and to share. And I would like to invite my colleagues from Purdue to see what questions they have. Crystal clear. Well, maybe while they are considering their questions, I can ask a little bit of a clarification. So can you please describe a little bit the camera ready process, and when do you see a project submitted more like traditional where you take care of all the production steps, and when do you work with camera ready projects, and how does the editing work when it's camera ready?
Do you want me to take that one, Rob? Or
Sure. Go ahead, Randy.
So yeah, we offer two options. So you can produce your manuscript the traditional way in Microsoft Word is what most authors use, and then we will do all the typesetting. Or some authors are quite comfortable using LaTeX, and in that case, we can provide them with style files, and they're able to typeset their own book, and that's what we call camera ready copy. And so we, like I said, we have a dedicated help desk to help authors. We have style files we provide to them, and then they're able to typeset the manuscript and lay it out the way that they want it to look. The process for production is only slightly different. We still do a full proofread and copy edit on the manuscript, but since it's already typeset, we don't have to actually do the typesetting. So some authors prefer that because it gives them control over the way the book looks and the layout of it. But it's definitely an option too to go the old-fashioned route where we do the typesetting for the author. So it's really the author's preference on how they want to produce the manuscript.
In case where somebody chooses to do the camera ready option, is the production process shorter?
Yes, it does go a little bit shorter because we skip that typesetting step, so it does make things a little bit quicker.
It's really good to hear. Can you touch on a little bit about the permissions process? So how much do you expect the author to do versus what kind of help they can expect on your end, and anything that would make it easier for us to prepare manuscripts that are easier, faster, better quality when they reach your desk?
Yeah, sure. So certainly we offer a lot of guidelines in helping authors seek permissions. We do ask authors to seek permissions for their own work, often because it's more likely that they will be granted permission, copyright permission, free of charge if the author's seeking it, as opposed to the publisher. We offer detailed guidelines on how to do this and a lot of support. We're also a member of the STM signatory group, which means that certain other publishers who are also in that group agree to make a certain number of figures, for instance, in an article available free of charge to reproduce. So that definitely helps with sort of managing costs of permissions. And yeah, we are very much on hand to support our authors with seeking those. We all have, each editor has a dedicated editorial assistant who will be there to kind of support the author with permission seeking, but also other aspects of formatting the manuscript for sort of final production stage. So it's very much a team. the editor, the editorial assistant, the author or editor all working together to kind of make sure that these things get covered. Yeah, I don't know if Rob or Randy, you want to add anything to that?
I think you covered it really well, Alice. Yes, I mean the recommendation always is to start the process early on so that it's not too onerous, because as you're developing the manuscript, if you start the permissions process right at the beginning, then it's very easy to kind of get it closed out and it doesn't become like an onerous task when the book is heading into production. So that would be my advice. Yes, we do ask the author to handle that process, but we're very much there to support them and and help them through it, and and get involved when we need to.
I understand, Christina, that one of the things that you're offering is kind of support for your authors with that. Is that something that the university are going to help out with?
Yes, and we're learning how that works, and it depends publisher to publisher. So we're learning that some publishers expect to have everything handed in at the same time when the final manuscript is handed in, to have the log of all the images and artwork and everything documented that permission already has been granted. And others will be like, no, just send it to me and we'll go through that process. So it depends publisher to publisher. And the first step for us is to understand, what does the contract say, what kind of support services are offered by the publisher. The ultimate goal is to make sure that the production phase is as short as possible. So if we can help with that and we know upfront what the expectations are, then we hope not to waste months and months and months waiting for a couple of images to be process, so that it will be such a shame to have everything else ready and just wait for that. So we just want to be as efficient as we can without redoing or doing things that are already expected to be done by the publisher.
Oh, efficient sounds great. Yeah, we're very much on board with that.
Great. Let's see if there are any questions in the chat or from our colleagues. Not, I can go on and on. I have a few other questions. Okay, let me ask a different question about advertising. So can you touch on a little bit more, give more details on how you advertise for specific topics? So if it's a textbook, what is your process? If it's a research monograph, what is your process? How do you deliver that message to the broadest possible audience?
So yeah, so obviously it's very, very different audiences. Yeah, I guess if we can all share this answer, I think in terms of textbook marketing, we have a dedicated faculty sales team who really target securing those textbook course adoptions. So making sure that inspection copies go out to the right people, that there's plenty of lead time so that they can actually generate those adoption leads and follow up on them, make sure that those books are actually being added to reading lists. It's a very kind of sort of rigorous operation, really, and timing is very important with that. So when considering publishing a textbook, you really want to make sure that you're publishing it in the right sort of textbook window so that our sales team can really work their magic there. Then with library sort of reference works, research monographs, you're looking at much more of a library market, which is obviously quite a different kind of marketing, and you're very much targeting the libraries there. Professional marketing, again, one of our big focuses now is really kind of improving discoverability of our books. So making sure that if you are a professional searching for a topic, the book that comes up first in your search is one of ours. So making sure that the keywords are there, that that the algorithms are kind of working for us. So that's a very big focus, kind of slightly moving away from the more older style of sending out lots of kind of individual emails that might get ignored or deleted. It's very much about discoverability. But yeah, Randy or Rob, if you've got anything to add in terms of specific areas and text types, then please fire away.
Absolutely. Alice is completely right. We live in a world now where a lot of marketing is done indirectly. So it's making sure that our books have a really good presence online, because that's how people discover them. And one of the ways we do that is working very, very closely with Amazon. So everybody knows that, Amazon is the place where the vast majority of people buy their books. That's particularly true of us. They're by some distance our biggest customer. And so we partner very closely with them to ensure that our books have a very strong profile on Amazon. And we encourage our authors to make sure that they have their own profiles there, and that we write really good copy attached to the books, and we commission reviews and endorsements that again kind of boost the profile of the books on Amazon. And as I said, we also partner very closely with them on lots of marketing campaigns. Very recently, we've been developing a huge amount of content for Amazon, which kind of puts our books front and center on search results. And without sort of blowing our trumpet too hard, just simply by publishing a book with us, your book is going to have a better position on Amazon, because we are far and above. Our listings will end up far and above in searches many other publishers, self-publishing or using, going with smaller presses, for example. So that's really important, because that's how people go and find the new textbook in veterinary medicine. They're searching for it on Amazon. And so our books have a really good presence there. And that's a big focus of our marketing department's efforts, is that kind of partnership with Amazon and other resellers.
I also just want to highlight in certain areas like AI, we are actually, our company is owned by a larger company called Informa, which is a media company in Britain, and they are put on a number of conferences. And so our relationship with them enables us to have presence at some events that other publishers may not. For instance, they put on this AI Summit series 4 times a year, and because we're part of Informa, we're able to have a large book exhibit at that conference and be able to reach that professional audience. So that's another way that we can market. And it's also in the pharmaceutical sciences, we also have a presence at some Informa events and things like natural products chemistry and those types of areas. So that just gives us the ability to market our books to an even broader audience because of our relationship with Informa.
That's great. Thank you. Final question from me, at least, is related to open access. Can you highlight a little bit the advantages, and do you have any statistics of visibility, comparatively between traditional publishing and open access? And I don't know if you have any public information about the cost associated with open access.
Yeah, I don't have any statistics to hand, to be honest, but we've got a very good area on our website which has a lot of public facing information on our open access books program. So you can find all the books there. You can find out all the information about the process and the costs and so on. That's all sort of publicly available via our website. And I think there's information on there as well. But yeah, we see a definite boost in usage and readership of our books when they are published open access, and therefore usage and citations and so on as well. So there are tremendous advantages to publishing books open access. And if that's something that is of interest to in fact, there you go, Randy's just posted the link, so you can see much more information there. And also it's a good idea to get in touch with the dedicated commissioning editor for your subject area, who can give you much more information specifically about open access in their fields. But yeah, it's a definite boost to the usage and readership of books by publishing them open access.
I would say as well, we do offer flexible options with open access. So you can pay for your entire book to be open access, but you can also choose to have individual chapters made open access as well, which obviously is much more affordable if their funding is limited for that. And again, gives you the sort of best of both worlds, because you get some of your core content available for free if you've got a particularly kind of important chapter that you want to share more widely, need more citations for. But then we can continue selling the book as a whole as a kind of traditional book. So there are definitely different options for authors with different kinds of funding.
That's very helpful. Well, thank you again. I hope there's no doubt in anybody's mind about how useful publishing with Routledge would be, the impact of a book published through Routledge, and especially how to fill a proposal and contact an editor if anybody is interested in that. So thank you again to Alice, to Rob, and to Randy. And we hope that you'll see many, many proposals coming your way in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Christine.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.